So it might come a little weird that I'm reviewing this album at the time I am because it's not like the 10-year anniversary of the College Dropout. It's not like this album came out 10 years ago and now I'm giving it its epic review. But there's a reason why I'm reviewing this today. I'm going to, for the next, I guess, week or so, a little over that, I will review every single Kanye West album. Now, when I say Kanye West album, I only mean the 9 studio albums. I won't review Watch the Throne or Kids See Ghosts. But I will be going from College Dropout to what is his final? Well, Jesus is King. But however, I do want to make something clear is that dead in the middle of that, there's a reason why I'm doing this in November. The reason why I'm doing this is because on November 22nd is an important day for Kanye fans because Kanye's best album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, turns 10 years old very soon. So I'm going to review each album, and on the 22nd, I'll upload the Dark Fantasy review, which will be featuring Tatermeister. I just wanted to give more of my thoughts about Kanye West on the channel, and I've talked about him a lot, and I thought, you know what, I want to go back through these albums. I want to review all these albums because I think he has one of the coolest discographies in hip-hop, probably my favorite of all time. He's not my favorite rapper, but in terms of discographies, these albums are so good. Some of my favorites come from this man, but I just want to go through each one, and this will be the first review of many. So yeah, and I'll be uploading one every day. So College Dropout was released in 2004, early 2004, and if anyone is familiar with the history of hip-hop, 2004 is often, considered one of those, it's kind of the year where a lot of great rappers died out, and then a lot of really bad rappers came into the game, and it's kind of between 2004 and almost up until, 2010, there was a lot of not interesting stuff coming up. There was a lot of the other rappers like Lupe Fiasco, T.I., they were really good. But a lot of rappers like 50 Cent, Eminem, all those big ones in the early 2000s were releasing not great projects. In fact, in 2004, Eminem released Encore, his worst album to date. That's my opinion, though. Most people don't agree with that. I think it's his worst, though. But the point is, by the way, it's windy outside, so if you hear wind, that is why. The College Dropout came out in early that year, and this was seriously, I know for many people who were around at the time, a breath of fresh air. This came out before I was born, actually, but to a lot of people, this was kind of that breath of fresh air for them. This was kind of like that album that, switched everything up. It was totally different. It was totally new. It was introducing these old ideas from rappers like A Tribe Called Quest, Eric B. and Rakim, and that early era of the 90s, but it was also bringing all these new ideas, these new concepts, and it was a really great combination of those. We have the intro skit here, which is something I think is only on College Dropout and Late Registration, this voice. I think it's a funny voice, and I think it's cool how he laces it through it. And it basically is there to introduce the opening track, which is We Don't Care, which, interestingly enough, is one of the weaker tracks on this album. Usually the opening track to an album that I love as much as I love this one would be one of the best on the album, though this is actually a weaker track for the album, and there are far better tracks on the album. But I like this a lot. I think it has a really not really care in the world. It's essentially his song to kids, and it's a nice kind of fun way to open up the album, a less serious way to open up the album, and it brings that production. It brings out what makes this album so good in its production standpoint. It brings that out very well, and it's a nice opening track, and I quite enjoy it, but it's not one of the strongest on the album. Graduation Day is another skit, which I do have a little bit of a thing with this album. I like the skits, but sometimes I'm kind of like, let's get to the next song, not another skit. But Graduation Day, it has a little bit of a song in it. It's an okay skit track thing. It's not amazing, but I do enjoy it for what it is. Then we have All Falls Down, which is a single that was released for this album, and it's my personal favorite track from the album. That's not a common opinion, and I didn't think that upon my first listen to this. However, man, this song is so good. He's able to bring across these themes of consumerism, racism, and whatnot, these issues in America. He brings them out in a really raw way. I love the guitar instrumental. I think it's really simple but really effective. Selah Johnson's hook is freaking amazing. Her vocals that are laced throughout the whole track sound so nice. Her voice really comes out through the speakers. It's a great track in that sense. Production-wise, fantastic. And then Kanye, when the way he's able to describe themes how do I describe it? Like themes like being insecure about what you buy, consumerism, money, just the whole economic issues in America. He's able to really bring it out in a really raw way. It's an album that doesn't, it's a track that doesn't really feel like it's forcing you to feel the emotion. It doesn't really feel like, you could interpret this song's emotion in a lot of ways, but it feels more like he's trying to tell you something. You take it how you will. And it's my personal favorite on this album, and it's probably top 5 Kanye ever. This is a great track, in my opinion. Then we have I'll Fly Away, which I've always been weird, but I get now, but after re-listening to it, I get why he does this. The end of this track is like, he's like, this slave ship's like a spaceship. And I'm like, so the next track should be Spaceship, right? But no, it's I'll Fly Away. But I guess I'll Fly Away kind of ties into Spaceship. Personally, I'll Fly Away is a nice track, but it doesn't really need to be here. It could be removed. Spaceship is often considered a very underrated track that I see on a lot of people's lists nowadays. Oh my goodness, don't yell! Cat! Okay. It's one of those tracks that you see on a lot of Kanye lists that's like often considered, oh, this song's so overlooked. And I quite like it. I like both GLC and Consequence's verse. I like how he's able to kind of bring out rappers that very few people have heard of. They both fit the track very well, which, by the way, in terms of collaborations, this album is great. Like, he gives some rappers some really cool performances. I'll get to the one soon, but Spaceship's a great track. It's really slow. One of the things I love so much about the College Dropout is this album, and this one and both Late Registration, feel very human. They feel very human. They feel very average. Like, Spaceship is not about your money. It's not about him bragging. There's very few braggadocious tracks on this album. This track feels very much on a personal level like him talking about how he just hates his job. Like, he just wishes he could fly away in a spaceship. It's a great track in that sense. It's a really slow-moving track. I love the production on it across, and it's a great track. It's a highlight from this album, honestly. And I think it really fits the theme of the album well. Jesus Walks is what's mostly considered the best on this album, and I don't agree, but I do quite love this song. This is a really booming, energetic track. A very classic track at that. It's a very iconic track. And I like hearing... Look, let me just say this. I talked about this in the Pimp a Butterfly series, but I'm a Christian, and I like hearing any Christian themes in hip-hop. I like hearing them because I just like rappers going that direction, because I think it's a direction that isn't done as much as it should be. Now, it's obviously in modern culture, yes, it is done a lot, but I mean in terms of hip-hop, I like hearing those raw songs where somebody just talks about their faith. This song isn't inherently raw. I mean, production-wise, raw as hell, but like, in thematically, the only thing I've never loved about this song is it doesn't feel as real as it should. It doesn't feel as personal as it really should. It's definitely a personal track, but knowing he didn't write it, at least the first part of this, always makes me kind of like, huh. It always just never really felt like the most personal thing for Kanye. But I love this track. I love the way he's able to bring out the themes of Christ and like standing up for what you believe in. It's a great track. It was a really good single for back in 2004. Never Let Me Down is a really overlooked track, and I wonder why. Because Jay-Z's on it. But Jay-Z is a great verse. It has a really energetic, hyped up feel to it. And Jay Ivy has really nice vocals across it. I don't understand the part where the hook starts and then Jay-Z keeps rapping over it, but I like it a lot. I think it's a really energetic, big, booming track. Has, like I've mentioned, really great energy, and I really love it overall. Then we have Get 'Em High with Talib Kweli and Common. Get 'Em High is... Why is my cat's just walking everywhere? He's walking around, playing with a nail right now. I should probably stop him from doing that. Get 'Em High is a track that's a little more of a party, laid-back, smoke, weed kind of track. I really enjoyed it. I think Common really brings out my favorite part of this track. I love Common so much as a rapper. I just love hearing his vocals. He features on a lot of older Kanye albums. You can actually see my cat, I think, right there. Can you see him? I don't think you can. I don't think you can. Wait. He's messing around on a piece of cardboard, throwing a screw around. You a bitch. Get 'Em High is a really great track. I like the production on it, and I think it fits really nice in the album. I think there's kind of a copy of it later, though, that I'll get to, but I like this track a lot. Then we have Workout Plan Skit, which is a funny skit that obviously I don't really talk about because it leads into the track New Workout Plan, which is, I often would call one of the boldest moves in a hip-hop debut album. Is it one of the best tracks on this album? No, lower half for me, but in terms of boldness, I love this song. I like how he just goes and he's like, let's make this song that's just a workout tape for women to get better bodies so they can get with like rappers and NBA players. The skit at the end where you can hear all the girls talking about getting with these people. It's entertaining. I do have a bit of a problem with the production because it does feel a little messy, but I like the violins. I think they fit really nicely, and I quite enjoyed it as a track that doesn't seem to want to take itself too seriously. And I don't know how I didn't know this. Those the workout song by J. Cole, which I actually don't really like. I mean, it's okay, but I think as a debut J. Cole single, it's seriously one of his weakest singles ever. Mostly just because of his verse, his like bang oh chang. I don't like the vocals on that track overall. But that since the beginning that I want to see you work out for me is from Workout Plan, and I didn't know. I think it's funny how much J. Cole hates Kanye though. He disses him all the time, and his first single literally samples him. I mean, I guess Jay-Z did the same thing, but still. Then we have Slow Jams, which I did not realize until re-listening to this album that I freaking love this track. I mean, I love almost every song on this album, but I did not realize until I re-listened to this how much I really enjoy this track. I like it as a slow jam. I like it. I really enjoy it. I think it's a really nice, like, fitting, slower song that continues to fit into the really iconic and almost, like, very rarely repeated production this album uses. Or, like, this album uses. Jamie Foxx is on it briefly, but also my favorite part about this track is the Twista part. Because I just love how that comes in. He's like, damn, baby, I can't do that fast, but I know someone who could. Then Twista comes in, and I love Twista as a rapper. I think he's really great at what he does. And I think it fits very well. And it's a really great feature that really comes out of unexpected, but it's done really well. It proves how really great our artist Kanye was at the time. Slow Jams is a really nice slow track that was also on a Twista album, I think. So, yeah. Then we have Breathe In, Breathe Out, which is the only track on this album I'm not the biggest fan of. I like it. But man, am I annoyed by how much they used Ludacris back in 2004, 2005. I don't like him very much. I don't like his really gruff, but not like gruff enough delivery. Because he is also on Virgo by Nas, which came out the same year, which I hate that song, but I do not like most of Street's Disciple. But Breathe In, Breathe Out's a nice track. It's good. But my only thing with this track has always been, it sounds like a just more sloshy kind of if sloshy is the word I'd use, like a sloshy version of Get 'Em High. And honestly, I didn't really need it. I would rather this have just been replaced with a different track. I bet there's a lot of really great tracks that weren't. There's this special edition. Like I haven't ever heard Heavy Hitters. I bet that would have done better. I bet that would have been a better track than what do we call it? That would have been a better track than Breathe In, Breathe Out. But yeah. It's a solid track. I still enjoy it. Then we have School Spirit. Then we have like School Spirit, just those whole parts. School Spirit Skit 1. Actually, basically it's just School Spirit Skit 1, School Spirit Skit 2, Lil Jimmy, and Lil Jimmy, which all lead up until the final 4 tracks on this album. School Spirit 1, Skit 1 is like a dad talking to their son, and they're like basically telling their son how much they love their degree. And it's kind of funny. It's because it sounds so ridiculous. And then School Spirit is a really nice track in my opinion. I love the piano sound in this. I love the synths of the the vocals in the background are really nice. I like what he talks about on the track. It's probably the most thematic track on this album. Like the education theme that the College Dropout has, this is the track that follows that the most. It's a really nice track. It has a really nice sound to it. It's not a highlight for me, but I do quite enjoy it overall as a track. School Spirit Skit 2, I'm pretty sure is the skit where it just continues this dad telling your son about how much they love their degrees and talking, basically making college sound like a shithole. But then Lil Jimmy skit comes in, and it's just him like, hey, what's wrong, Lil Jimmy? Oh, my dad died because he was always obsessed with learning and degrees. And I was like, what I'm thinking in the moment is like, it's a fun track. It's a fun skit. It's kind of funny for what the album overall offers. And it does overall fit the themes that the album really goes for, and I quite enjoy it. Maybe not a highlight, but yeah, I quite like it. Then we have 2 Words, which is a great track. This is probably the most like angry track on the album. It has Mos Def, Freeway, and the boys of the Choir of Harlem. Yeah, it's a nice track. I like all the verses on this. I like the energy on this. I've heard that this track uses like a 2-word rhyme scheme the whole time. I should analyze that more, but if that's the case, that is fucking brilliant. That is amazing from Kanye, and definitely Mos Def and Freeway. Like, this is a really energetic, big sounding track, and I quite enjoyed it overall. It feels like the most just angry, big track on the album. I really like it. It's a highlight for the album overall. Then we have Through the Wire, which is the first Kanye single, and the story to this track basically goes, Kanye was in a horrible car accident in the production of this album, or at least just back in like 2003 era, where he was the big Rockefeller producer. But Through the Wire is like his moment where he kind of, It almost feels like Through the Wire is this moment where he has to rap through the wire. He does this very nicely. I didn't actually know this was rapped through a wire when I first heard it. I didn't even know something was wrong with the vocals, but it's a really nice track. I think he really is actually able to do what the track wants him to do. I really love the passion of this track. It feels like one of the most emotional, soft tracks on the album. And it is from a really, like, personal place from him. This accident could have killed him, and he raps through the wire. This accident just happened when this song came out. It really works well for the album. I quite enjoyed it. It's probably my second favorite after All Falls Down. I love this track overall. A lot of people call it the best. I've been close to calling it the best, but it's not for me. But just trust me, I love this song to my grave. It's an amazing track. Family Business is a bit more of a personal cut, but not inherently, like, extremely personal. Actually, why am I not saying it? It's very personal. Family Business is a track dedicated to just family. Dedicated to good times with family, but it's also dedicated to people you've lost in your family. I personally have not lost a lot of family members, so this track will probably become way more personal to me in like a year or two. But this is actually probably top 5 for me. I really love just the soft sound of this track. And it feels also all the lines, the synths in the background that say like all the glitter. It feels kind of like that. It's kind of just a really glitterous, nice song. It actually reminds me of this track. I feel like probably, I'm not saying it's just because of glitter. Not saying this. It sounds like it had some inspiration on Tyler's Flower Boy. Maybe not. Maybe I'm only saying that because of glitter, but I don't think I am. I really like it. It's a really... Why are you yelling? Can you see him? Hold up. No, you can't. Oh, dang. Yeah, you can't. He's behind the blanket. He's on like a little bed. Hold up. There you can see him. Kanye. Hey, I'm reviewing your album. Okay, but going back to Family Business, this is a really personal, nice track for me. I really love what Kanye is able to do with this. Just a really soft spot for him about family and loving everyone in it, and I love it overall. Last Call is a long-ass song, but it's actually a really inspirational song, because I've noticed this idea of making a last track like 12, 15 minutes, and like just talking over it for a while, has been done many times since. Logic did the last call on Young Sinatra 4. He just did the whole storytelling thing. And I didn't like it as much at that one because I kind of already knew the story and it wasn't as interesting as this one. And I've also felt very much like he was just not being inspired by Kanye. Like he was just flat out ripping him off. But this track, basically, the first half is this kind of toast. Let's toast off this album. It's not nearly the same way that Runaway is a toast. I just realized 2 freakishly long Kanye songs are like about a toast. But probably the only 2 freakishly long Kanye songs. I really like this track, but then the second half of it, not even the second half, like the last 2/3, are him just telling his whole coming up story. Like him talking about him producing for Jay-Z for a bit, then trying to rap, but it not really being all that good, and then taking a while for him to start getting really good at rapping. And then after he was signing to Capitol, they just pulled on the deal randomly, and then he just got a last-minute deal with Rockefeller. They accepted it, and now we have this. I like it a lot, actually. I think it's a really kind of cool. It's a really great way to send off the album. It was really creative for the time. You have to understand that this album might not sound as creative nowadays, but back in 2004, my God, this album was nothing like this had come out at the time. And I really like it for that. Last Call's a really great send-off. It's probably the best conclusion he could have done. I really love it. I should hear Heavy Hitters. I don't know where to find it, but I will listen to it. Overall, though, College Dropout's a classic. We all can mostly agree that College Dropout's one of the best albums of its era. And overall, it's just a really... It doesn't feel like the most personal album. Actually, at a lot of points it is. It's a really diverse, really great debut. It really brought out what Kanye had to offer in the game. Really creative production, which Kanye continues to use creative production to this day. There's never really been a time where he's followed the trends of the time. He's always the one making the trends. But Kanye really brought out on this album not only the personal side to him, but also what he was going through at the time. He was a college dropout. And I love the way he's able to talk about the education system. And I love it's not the heavy theme on the album, because this album isn't meant to be a big, heavy hitting theme. It's not like Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City deal. It's like a lot more of this kind of, how would I describe it other than just an album where he wants to tell his fans, tell his viewers, tell everyone who loves him, oh my God. Are you walking up to a camera? Say hi, people. Okay, he can't jump that far, but this is Kanye. He's my baby. I should take him out for the late registration video because you're being annoying. You're being annoying. You're being annoying. Say hi to the Kanye listeners. I will put you in the thumbnail. I promise. Overall, I really love this. It's one of my favorite albums. It's such a creative album for the time period. That soul, hip-hop fusion of production sounds really nice. Kanye's vocals are really creative. It's an album that's also aged incredibly well. This is a great project, in my opinion. I don't really have many issues with it. If I were to nitpick for this, my only issues would be, one, a couple points it sounds a little dated. Two, the vocals in the background sometimes are annoying. Usually not, but sometimes they're a little annoying. Actually, they're kind of nice most of the time. They're really nice most of the time, but a couple tracks, it's like a tad bit annoying. I mean, those high-pitched vocals, you know what I'm talking about. But then, my third issue would just be breathe in, breathe out. It doesn't really need to be here. But overall, this album is great, in my opinion. It's near flawless beyond those flaws. This is a really solid project, one of Kanye's best. And overall, I am going to turn a bet. I would give The College Dropout an A. Not A+, because there's too many issues with it, but this is an album for me. It's a highlight for me in all hip-hop. And it's one of the most important albums of its time period. What do you guys think of The College Dropout? Are you excited for me to review the next two albums? Let me know like what you think of all the albums as I go through them. It's going to be fun. It'll be a nice way for me to take a break. And yeah, I will still review albums coming out like this Friday. I'll still get reviews out for those albums. Because I'm not listening to these albums at night. I'm listening to them like while playing other things. Because trust me, I know these albums well. I'm just refreshing them for me. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye. I just tipped my hat. I should start doing that now. Bye.